Global dairy prices held up overnight in the global dairy auction, only easing 0.7% overnight with US 3,218 a tonne. So pretty good, despite a lot of uncertainty of what is happening around the world. But also here at home, we've seen the Real Estate Institute of New Zealand figures of dairy land sales back 29%. So there is a lack of confidence going on into the future. Taking the time to join us now is Rabobank Senior Analyst Michael Harvey. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me again.
It's always a pleasure. Let's talk firstly about this auction. Last one was quite a rip-roar, so, it's only natural that things are starting to settle and stabilise.
Yeah, look, after the previous auctions result, it was just a good result to have a bit of consolidation in the market. And to be honest, the market's in much better shape than we thought it might be at this point in time. So this, the new season's underway in New Zealand. This is all product being sold in the new season at prices that we weren't expecting. So it's all positive news for farmers in the payout in the new season. But look, we know the months ahead are going to be critical because obviously the volumes increase. There's a product going on to that auction. Those prices that will play a big role in sort of dictating the payout in the new season. But it's good signs at the moment. But we do still caution, our clients around competitors in the global market, just because we know that there is still weak demand in key markets with some high stuff and supply still growing in a lot of major export regions. So there's headwinds there, but look, the market's in better shape than we thought, and we'll certainly take the result we got overnight.
Do we fear about China stockpiling by chance?
Look, it's a difficult one. China's such an important market, but it's not always the best market to get good, reliable data and have a clear view on. But we are certainly of the view that we think inventories in China are above average. But that's not surprising given, there's a few things. One, their economy is coming out of lockdown and as things get back into normal, they need to refill their pipelines and their inventory. But there's also, some commentary coming out of the market that, there is some concern and some strategy from some of the big buyers in China to have, more safety stock in their supply chains in case there were disruptions to trade and getting product to market. So I think there's an element of that as well. But there's no doubt that, the market is opening back up. The the big numbers that came out more recently were reasonably bullish in terms of how the economy is faring at this point in time. So there is reason to be optimistic, but the way we model the market, we still do think that inventories are above average, and we might see a bit more of a subdued, China appetite in the months ahead. But time will tell.
We are struggling to hear you a little bit, Michael, I must admit. If there is any way that you can kind of move your muffledness around your phone, is that possible? Because we can.
I'll try. Is that a little bit better?
Yes, it is. Yes, thank you very much. I definitely we caught a lot of that, but I just wanted to ensure as we go into the next part. In January, Rabobank's Emma Higgins saw the farm prices were on a downward spiral, or as she said, stuck in neutral, and she really took a blow for that. That was post-COVID. Pre-COVID, my apologies, Michael, that she predicted that there was going to be mounting pressures to weaken dairyland values, and we've seen that come out in our statistics here today. You'll be following that closely?
Yeah, this was a report back in only a few months ago, and this was a 5-year view on what might happen with land values in New Zealand based on the current settings. And, the reason for the view at the time was, we obviously thought there was going to be some tighter credit available, there's less foreign capital flowing in, there's obviously some uncertainty around environmental regulation. So they were the key drivers for that view, and I think fundamentally that's still in place. There's always going to be movement in some of those settings that will ultimately dictate land values, and milk price is one of them, and profitability of the sector. And that's where, certainly, last season's milk price was, the fourth highest on record. It would have been a season where most operators, booked an operating profit, and the milk price pans out the way Fonterra's saying in terms of their current forecast, and, this season will shape up as well. So that's supportive of the land value market. But some of the key drivers around the availability of correctly foreign capital and just the environmental regulation or some of the uncertainty around that is certainly going to weigh on land values. So that view is still firm.
Yeah, of course. And this is ahead of Dairy NZ's latest economic survey revealing that cost control measures are a key driver for New Zealand's profitability. You focusing quite heavily on the operating profit per hectare and where that's going, especially with the tightening of bank credit?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a few positive things out of the benchmark. It's great to have such good benchmarking data because you can do a really good pulse check on the state of the industry. But I mean, no doubt, the land values were down, there weren't many transactions. You certainly take encouragement that, the way they measure debt levels, or one measurement, debt levels were down, which is a good thing that shows you, that in good seasons, New Zealand dairy farmers do tighten their belts and do take down some debt. And also that there was, consecutive years of operating profits. So I think there's good things in the report, the benchmarking data, but I mean, obviously that was up until the end of the 18-19 season, so we're still way advanced. But you would have thought last season and this season will be positive results for the industry as well. No, last season there were some weather-related challenges and high cost of supplementary feed. Just given the milk price environment, it should have still been pretty good season.
Thank you so much, Michael Harvey, Senior Analyst there for Rabobank, giving us a great insight across the board on what is happening with the dairy prices as well as operating profits from a recent Dairy NZ economic survey. You can have a look for all that information in full, in depth on farmersweekly.co.nz.
This is Sarah's Country.